Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to this evening's news bulletin. In the national news, the Environmental Impact Assessment (EIA) report of the government's proposed land reclamation project has officially entered the public viewing stage. This marks a key step in the process as authorities aim to ensure transparency and allow for public feedback before moving ahead.
The project aims to reclaim areas of land to replenish the current supply available for industrial and commercial use. Additionally, there is an incentive that focuses on stockpiling sand to rebuild the country's depleted reserves.
The report basically makes note of certain areas of concern. For instance, impacts to zones of seagrass, coral life, marine life, which the report has taken note of, and also, and on our side as the client, obviously these are areas which we are placing a lot of attention on. And the report will provide more details on these aspects, and it also provides for mitigation measures that have been implemented or will be implemented in order to minimize the impacts to the environment. Obviously, there will be probably areas where we'll have to see how we're going to balance development versus environment protection.
Divers were deployed into the water to conduct environmental benthic mapping. This process helped document various types of organisms that live on, in, or near the seabed. Nimhan Seniratne explains their aim to uphold transparency and honesty in the report, adding that they have engaged with experts from New Zealand to support the project.
We engaged with New Zealand. We have a series of sub-experts in New Zealand who have been working in the Seychelles, specific in the marine modeling and oceanography field. So the models that you saw today are by no means largely theoretical. They are significantly more accurate because we've laid underwater modeling instruments, we've measured tide, current, wind velocities. So in looking at where these sediments potentially move, they are pretty much in alignment with the records that we have from past surveys that have been done. In addition to that, I think it would be important to note that in our community door-to-door focus groups meetings that we've had, specifically with the fishermen, we've picked up on key locations where different fisher groups from different districts actually place their nets, do their nearshore fisheries, their paths of travel in between these small islands. And this is why today you see that certain shapes in the new reclamation design have been specifically retained in order to ensure that some of the species that are not found outside still have a recruitment potential after the reclamations have been done.
The report will be available on the website of the Department of Environment as of next week.
There have been several site visits in the past 5 years on Praslin for housing development. However, the first construction project was launched only this year. The Ministry for Lands and Housing says financing has been a major setback, not to mention the financial effect COVID had on the country. For the coming projects, the ministry is prioritizing sustainable projects that will also contribute towards creating job opportunities. There have been 3 main decisions that the Cabinet of Ministers took in their meeting yesterday. One of the main ones is the approval of amendments and reforms to pension law.
As it convened yesterday, the Cabinet of Ministers took note of the fiscal report for the first quarter of this year, which indicated a primary surplus of over 205.15 million rupees, or equivalent to 0.6% of the country's GDP. Supported by improved tax revenue performance, notably from business and personal income tax. While total revenue and grants slightly underperformed, expenditure remained below budget, resulting in an overall improved fiscal position. The Cabinet, however, also noted the need for budget revisions in this year to accommodate emerging commitments, including contributions to the FIFA Beach Soccer World Cup and infrastructure projects. They endorsed proposed expenditure adjustments and commended the reducing debt to GDP levels accordingly. The Cabinet also approved the proposed legislative reforms to regulate the pension sector, including the Private Pension Bill, the Seychelles Pension Fund Amendment Bill, and related consequential amendments. The reforms establish a comprehensive regulatory framework under the Financial Services Authority to ensure prudent supervision, transparency, and protection of pension scheme members and beneficiaries. Cabinet also endorsed the inclusion of pension administrators as reporting entities under the anti-money laundering regulations, realignment of supervisory responsibilities, and the provision of business tax exemptions to support the development of the pension industry. The Cabinet also approved the Seychelles' second voluntary national review report on the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, which outlines the national progress on all 70 SDGs. The report, which will be presented at the 2025 UN High-Level Political Forum, highlights achievement in marine protection, healthcare access, and renewable energy, while also acknowledging ongoing challenges related to economic vulnerability, demographic shifts, and climate resilience.
The Mental Health Service of the Ministry of Health, in collaboration with the Rotaract Club of Mahe, has organized a workshop to raise awareness about mental health and promote careers in the mental health profession. This is a second project focused on mental health. The workshop was held in the presence of the Minister for Health and other senior officials from the ministry. Other stakeholders were also in attendance. In her address at the workshop, Dr. Daniela Malulu, consultant in charge of mental health, highlighted the importance of working in this field.
Mental health is not just about diagnosis and treatments. It's about people. It's about stories. It's about moments that reminds us why we do what we do. That's why we are all here today. And this year, we have a mission to inspire the next generation of mental health professionals. To the young people in this room, I want you to know mental health is one of the most rewarding fields you can enter. It is not always easy. There are tough days, heartbreaking moments, and challenges that will test you. But there are also victories, the kind that don't always make headlines, but change lives in ways you can't imagine. You don't have to be a psychiatrist to make a difference. You can be a psychologist, a counselor, a social worker, a researcher, or an advocate. You can just be a person who listens, who understands, who helps someone find their way back to themselves. Mental health is not just a career, it is a calling. The world needs more compassionate minds, more empathetic hearts, and more people willing to stand in the gap for those who need support.
The students from the Seychelles Tourism Academy, STA, had the opportunity to learn more about employment opportunities available in different tourism organizations in the country. This was through a job fair held during the day at the institution in La Misère. The main objective of this fair is to allow students who will be graduating in August to have the advanced opportunity to know the different job offers that await them.
So I'm begging you, students, make your name out there. So when you go for interviews, promote yourself, convince the trade that you are the one. You are, or you have been trained. Our plan, our target is to employ 95% of our students. I'm asking the trade, why is it you're taking my students for 6 months or 7 months or 1 year enrollment as trainees, and yet when it comes to closest to graduation, you don't employ them?
And with this, we've reached the end of our news summary. Join us at 8 p.m. for more news and more details. Thank you for watching.